I really enjoyed this movie. I had a really good time.
If the movie had been called Deadpool 3, I would have some serious issues.
I just think that that's a lazy motivation that a lot of screenwriters fall into.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's just a one and done.
We're not going to end on negativity, guys.
Greetings, Palaxians. Today on the bounty board are two of the multiverse's deadliest immortal besties, Deadpool and Wolverine. So grab your chimichangas, kick up that warp drive, and let's punch it.
Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast, everybody. My name is MT, and I'm here joined with my wonderful friends, Whitney, Brett, and Tommy. What's going on, gang? It's Deadpool week. We all saw Deadpool 3, that amazing movie. What did you guys think of the movie?
I hated it. No, I liked it. I'm a little cranky today because I'm in an apartment that's 9,000 degrees. Thank you, my friend, for letting me stay in his apartment. But goddamn, my friend, for not having proper air conditioning.
Fix your air conditioning, bro. Come on.
Men would rather have broken air conditioners than go to therapy.
That is absolutely a truth of this world. Yes.
1,000%
Does your friend need
true.
money? Should we Venmo him?
Yeah, guys, Venmo at Tommy-Bechtold, and I'll be sure to pass that right along to my
Everyone mail an ice cube to Tommy Bechtold. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your P.O. box, Tommy, so we can all send you ice cubes in the mail.
But what are your general thoughts of the movie, guys? Like, did you guys have a good time?
I was overall positive. We'll get into the specifics, but I left the theater feeling positive. I think for a huge portion of the movie, I wasn't on board.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, we've got some Brett opinions.
Okay.
I do actually have some similar opinions of Brett. However, I found myself in deep enjoyment, like about 2/3 of the way through the movie. Pretty much as soon as the fight scene where Deadpool is like, "All right, nerds, get out your special sock," I was like, "Oh, I'm ready. That's what I came here for." And he was right. It was an amazing fucking fight scene. And like from then on out, I was like, hella yes. I loved all the cameos. I loved the ending. I thought that the ending was like so beautiful. I was definitely like tearing up in the theater. And then obviously the post-credit scene, seeing Captain America finally have a potty mouth was the highlight for me. I've always wanted to see Chris Evans just let loose and say the fuck word. And by God, he did. As Johnny Storm, of course, not as our beloved language police Captain America, but that was definitely a big highlight for me. I really liked it overall. And and obviously, I'm so sorry, just before I stop, the beginning fight scene to Bye
Oh
Bye
my
Bye.
God.
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
That was probably my favorite Deadpool intro ever, like out of the three movies.
Right.
Shout out to Blake Lively for choosing that song. Great choice, Blake. We support your decisions. And on top of that, let me know if you guys felt this way. But the whole time I was watching him just slaughter those TVA agents with Wolverine's decrepit adamantium bones, I was thinking, oh no, those are all people who were stolen from their lives on the sacred timeline, and they don't even know what they're doing or the asshole that they're working for. And Deadpool is just murdering just normal ass people, and I was horrified. I felt visceral horror, and I was so like, no, Deadpool, no. But it was so funny, and it was such great action, and I loved it. That's my little opening thoughts on Deadpool.
I mean, I think that fight scene is the highlight of the movie by far.
It's such a strong opening.
I'll just briefly weigh in that as a movie called Deadpool and Wolverine, I love it. If the movie had been called Deadpool 3, I would have some serious issues with it. So we can elaborate further on in the episode. But Deadpool and Wolverine, check. You did a good job, guys.
Hells yeah. How about you, MT?
Oh my God. Like I really enjoyed this movie. I had a really good time. It just felt like a really like fun dive through like, the Fox X-Men universe and like, a final goodbye to that, chapter of the Marvel cinematic history. And oh my God, like seeing Blade show up. Like I'm so glad I avoided spoilers for like I was trying so hard to avoid all spoilers.
I totally avoided spoilers too. It freaked me out. I was sitting next to Tommy. You can ask him. I just yelled, yes, when he came on screen. I was so happy.
I literally yelled, let's fucking go. I was so fucking hyped. Like every hair on my body was standing up because like the entrance was amazing. Gambit, my God, like finally seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit was funny.
My favorite line in the whole movie is, I think I might have been born here. And like,
I have to say, like, there's a little part of me that thinks that there's a chance that Gambit is going to pull a Deadpool and get a movie out of Channing Tatum's performance as Gambit.
Ooh.
Because I thought the money they put into the effects of his charging his cards,
it was sick.
They really did a thorough job. He seems the most like complete in terms of like effort put into costuming and effects.
Right.
And I also thought they kind of towed the tightrope really well of like it being a joke because he never got to be Gambit, but also like the character is serious and wants to do right by things. And like Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool rather kind of making fun of him the whole time. I was a little worried it was going to kind of undercut. Like, it's like, oh, this is a joke character. But in the end, he was so powerful. It was certainly no joke. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if either this at least restores the fan demand for a Gambit presence in one of these movies, or if we just if we do actually get Channing Tatum, I could see that happening.
Here's what I want in that regard. I want it to be called Magic Mike 4 Gambit. And then it's just Channing Tatum Gambit stripping, but using his magic cards. Magic Mike, Magic Gambit. You guys see where I'm going with this.
That feels dangerous to me. Like,
only when he's
the
G-string.
It feels like there's going to be a lot of dead bachelorettes. Like they're just missing.
Well, he doesn't do it when he's performing for bachelorettes, Tommy. Only when he's performing for murderers and guys he needs to kill.
Is there a big demand amongst murderers to see a man strip?
Yes. Yes.
All right, boys.
Yes, there is. Yes,
Listen,
there is.
Members of the Joker gang. We're going to go watch some hot cock tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't
have
worry.
you seen Harley Quinn? I think that's plausible in that, and at least in that universe.
So I think we have two very, very realistic pitches now on a Channing Tatum Gambit project.
Yes.
Do you guys want to say something crazy?
No.
No, so here's my question. I want to pose a question to you guys. Lots of cameos in this movie. As we knew, some were leaked, some were outright reported by Variety, which was insane to me. They had announced Jennifer Garner's casting in the movie like a year ago. Which
I think I did hear something about that, yeah.
Absolutely insane.
I didn't even know. I saw her and I was like, oh, holy shit, I forgot she was Elektra. I totally forgot that movie existed. I'm so sorry, Jennifer Garner. I do support, respect, and appreciate your life work, but I completely forgot.
And to be fair, Whitney, to be fair to you, that movie is like 20 years old, if not more. Yeah. It's like 23 years old. And that would mean you were like 10 when it came out.
Yeah, I was 10 when it came out.
So I don't think that's unreasonable, but I do think that despite that, knowing that cameo, it still worked for me. What were your guys' favorite cameos, and which cameos rubbed you the wrong way?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that, my favorite cameo has got to be, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. Like that moment was like a huge like bait and switch because I was like, oh my God, it's Captain America. He's back. We finally know where he is, where he's been. Like, I'm so excited to see him team up with Deadpool and Wolverine. It'd be so freaking cool to see them all three of them fight. And then it's like, oh no, it's Flame On. I was like, let's fucking go. I'm so excited. Like, I was losing. I was grinning ear to ear. I was like, I'm so glad they kept this a secret. Like nothing got leaked. Like it's like one of those magical cinema surprises. Yeah, but my least favorite, I think, probably no. I love them all. I mean, but like if I had to choose one, like probably Gambit.
Yeah,
because like I think that like his suit looked very CG, and like it felt like none of him looked actually real, which it looked good enough. So I'm not actually complaining, but like in the accent was just like, okay. I don't know if I can deal with this without laughing because it's just so not great for me. And like, I know he's trying his best and I don't want to be mean to Channing Tatum.
I mean, I think that was also they played it up. Like,
Right, true.
I felt to me that they were trying to give us like a X-Men the animated series version of Gambit,
right?
Like, the costuming and stuff, and the voice. And I don't know. I do kind of agree. I don't know that it translates as well into like a like live action movie. I just thought, honestly, for me, what sold Gambit was the effects on the cards. I thought the way
Me
that
too. 100%
the cards looked amazing. But
that action sequence where they're all fighting like together was like phenomenal. Like I was like, oh my god, this is one of the raddest things I've ever seen. But yeah, no, I think that like they handle cameos really well in this. Actually, no, my favorite cameo. Sorry, totally forgot. Short King Wolverine. That was like I was cracking up. I was like, I can't believe they did it.
Oh my god! Yeah,
we also had the Cavalry, which is funny. Henry Cavill, like the popular fan cast, which looks so weird.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's just a one and done because
I'm pretty sure that's just like a dumb throwaway joke.
I think that was
I don't know.
Hopefully.
Well, it was like the John Krasinski.
Yeah, exactly. Reed
Richards, where it was a fan casting thing that was like, all right, we'll do it for this movie and it'll be funny. Yeah, Whitney, what was your favorite cameo?
Oh man, I do think that based on the fact that it was the only one that made me audibly make a sound in the theater when I went, yes, because of Blade. I was so hyped to see Blade. I did not know that cameo was coming, and it made my day. I was so happy. I was just like, fucking yes, even if Marvel keeps dragging their fucking stupid little feet on this, and even if Disney fucks us over, Ryan Reynolds gave us a taste of the return of Blade, and I can never repay him for that kindness. I was so happy. I loved that cameo very much. My least favorite cameo was Eliath. Yeah, that big old bitch trying to eat all my friends. Fuck Eliath. Fuck Eliath. He's
you
mean
Eliath from the Loki season 1, episode 5?
Yes, that Eliath.
It was very inconsistent on what it actually ate throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
He sensed the power of friendships. He was like, I'm not eating those like Blade and all them because they're too cool. But I'll eat everybody else.
I didn't like how this movie handled cameos for the majority of the film. I think I am a person who did not like No Way Home. I think Andrew Garfield is great in No Way Home, but the rest of the movie is kind of just there's like some great scenes in No Way Home too, but like overall the movie's just kind of like jangling keys in front of you. And I felt the same way about Multiverse of Madness, where it's just kind of like, look at this familiar thing from your nostalgia. That's cool, right?
Right.
So like the Chris Evans cameo, I rolled my eyes so hard because it was like, to me, it was like, oh,
I loved
obvious this is going to be Johnny. And it really wasn't until they got to their little hideout, and it was just like, okay, here are all of the rejected movie characters of Fox movies that never were finalized. And I was like, okay, that's what this is. This is a movie really about like the rejects. And I think that's where it like fully clicked for me. So like I'm on the opposite side of you. I think Channing Tatum was my favorite cameo. Jennifer Garner was also fantastic. And I think, I mean, obviously Daphne Keane, I think if that wasn't ruined, ruined in promotional material, that would have been the best part of the entire
1,000%.
I knew she was going to be in it. That was the only thing that was like spoiled.
That's the biggest bummer. Like that final trailer was a mistake, man. They should not have done it. Like we were so close to the release that like they could have just waited a couple of days because like people were going to see the movie anyway. Like that reveal did not do anything to like boost ticket sales. I feel because like I mean everyone knew that like Deadpool was going to be in it, Wolverine's going to be in it. So like that's the draw.
Feige did say the reason why they showed her is because she wanted to be at the premiere, and I respect that.
Right?
That's
just being a good dude.
For sure.
But I'm also like, you could have invited her to the premiere and like it just been like,
and just been like, close personal friend of one Hugh Jackman is
exactly
because they know each other. That would have been so easy to do.
And she was just on a giant Disney streaming show.
Exactly. I definitely could see, what because like it was a very cameo heavy for sure. And like in terms of my rankings of Deadpool movies, I would probably rank this Deadpool 1, Deadpool. Actually, no, this would probably be like my least favorite Deadpool.
I think
honestly,
this is the worst Deadpool.
It's like I don't know, because like it does feel like it's incomplete.
I agree with what Tommy said, and I think that this is a really great Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but it's not a good Deadpool 3. You know, like I 200% agree with Tommy. That was something that we talked about a lot. And part of the reason why when Tommy and I talked about it was because we both felt like they really underutilized the like classic Deadpool movie characters. Like, you know, Marina Baccarin was very rarely in it. Dopinder had one line. Cyclops was barely in it. Yukio had a couple of hi Wade and like, oh, sorry, what did I say?
Cyclops.
Oh, Cyclops. Sorry, Colossal. Sorry. Oh my gosh.
Where the fuck is Cyclops?
Where was he? No. Oh my gosh. Wrong X-Men. I'm so sorry. Colossus. That was a mouth typo. Bad, Whitney. And, you know, and like Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I think she also only had like one line. I just wanted to see more of those classic characters involved because that's what made the first two Deadpool movies so charming was like the little family that they had built. And that was what the ending of Deadpool 2 was all of them coming together and being like, you know, family is not an F word. Deadpool has a family now. Like they're all together. And then you just don't show them at all. And they're super important to him. And they only come back via a tiny ass little Polaroid picture, like an Instax mini. And it's just, I wanted to see more of them in the movie. And that really bummed me out when the last time we really like saw them was after a 10-minute intro.
What is going to be interesting to see is if Deadpool will end up becoming like every Deadpool movie will have like him teaming up with somebody else, and like I don't know if there'll ever be another Deadpool 3 again, because like I feel like the next movie would be like Deadpool and SpiderMan, and now Deadpool and somebody else, because like he's a moneymaker, man, and like he's like an opportunity for Marvel characters to say the F word and like be involved in more adult situations. So I can see like Deadpool and the Punisher, Deadpool and like, you know, Daredevil. I mean, maybe Deadpool, that'd be wild. Deadpool and Daredevil.
Both,
but like
both
I don't know.
And Kingpin are just like Vanessa.
Both of them at the same time. Vanessa.
I do think the way it's set up now is to both for Ryan Reynolds, the sake of Ryan Reynolds' family and sanity, Deadpool is now set to be a ensemble character in the MCU. I don't know that, I mean, like, there might not be another standalone Deadpool movie, although I have to imagine if this movie makes $2 billion, they're going to make another Deadpool movie. I mean, like, come on.
Deadpool and SpiderMan is like, that's, I don't know what the legal loopholes would be required to make that work, but that is, I think, something that comic book fans would really want to see. So I like that idea.
Oh no, it's inevitable, bro. Like there's no way. I think Sony wants that Deadpool action so badly because like
Sony wants a lot of things.
I know, but like they know that like that would make so much money for them. So like that is like it's already a done deal in my brain. I'm like, it's gonna happen. Because like the people really love the, you know, whenever Spider-Man and Deadpool have their own series in the comics, it's like it's a fan favorite series. So like it's gonna happen at least once, and it's gonna be so great.
I think it's more of Kevin Feige opening up his sandbox to Sony coming in.
I want to talk about quickly one thing that I kind of thought in the movie lacked a little bit of exploration, and that was the villains. I thought Pyro was kind of wasted in this movie. Like to bring him back, that character meant something in those first two X-Men movies because he like left the X-Men. Like he saw something and the words of Magneto resonated with him enough that he chooses to leave with Magneto at the end of the first one, right? And then so I thought bringing him back and kind of making him like a standard wasteland, you know, unwashed brown teeth, like, you know, just kind of like henchman was unnecessary. I don't know. I wanted more of like, he was an interesting character in those X-Men movies because he was like, you know, he had a relationship with Bobby Drake, Iceman, and like they had a friendship. They were close friends. In this movie, he was just a straightforward kind of nihilistic bad guy that did the bidding of Cassandra Nova, and I kind of thought maybe just one more scene of him kind of like talking about what he what his world was like before he got there. He just served a function to like pull the Human Torch's flame. Basically, it was like the only reason he was in the movie.
I mean, yeah, he was
cool
like
moment.
The butt monkey, right? Where someone had to be the because there's so many. They're fitting so many.
Someone's got to be the butt monkey.
They're fitting in so many characters for all these cameos. They need someone to like be the character where they go, no, not everyone gets a final moment. Not everyone gets to have the spotlight in this because we have a zillion cameos to go through. So I think that's his role in the script.
But one thing I did appreciate about his involvement in the movie was how in X-Men 3 he tells Magneto's like, oh man, I would have killed Xavier if given the chance. And so like we sort of see him do it symbolically with his twin, where like he goes for it and he tries to kill her. So I was like, all right, that's sort of like satisfying to see, in a way, even though it wasn't actually Xavier. But like, he ends up getting messed up.
I think also Paradox was boring as shit and like gave like just so heavy-handed with like, here, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm about to do. I just recruited you. I'm going to destroy your universe. You're fine with that. And it's like, okay, yeah, we got to get this plot moving, I guess. Completely. Yeah. You don't need to tell Deadpool this. Like,
I thought that dude's performance was so great because like he was just like a very nervous, like, I don't know, he was just like a douchebag. He was like, you know what? I just want to move up the corporate ladder, and like, like he's like he acts strong because like he has authority, but like once actual strong people come in the mix, he's like, oh, please don't hurt me.
Yeah, he's a little weasel. He's just a wormy little weasel, and he played that character really well. I agree, MT.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I loved his facial expressions when she was like probing his mind. Like,
oh my god, the mind fingering was so.
Cassandra Nova's cool.
Like,
she was rad. I wanted more of her. I want more of her in the MC. Yeah. I hope she survived that huge explosion that nobody else could survive.
Come on, she survived being killed by Charles Xavier in the womb. She can survive a little antimatter.
I mean, like, like, I do want to talk about the energy. Can I talk about the energy stuff? I know, like, I get really weird when it comes to MCU.
No, go for it, baby.
But like, man, I'm actually gonna, write a video about this for heavy spoilers. So spoilers for heavy spoilers, I guess. But like, those energies in that Time Ripper device are so important to the MCU, especially when it comes to the the eventual arrival of the character Blue Marvel. Because that, we hear that Paradox say like, oh man, she's like shoving a bunch of like antimatter and matter into her body and shit. Like that's in the Time Ripper device. And that is exactly, antimatter is exactly where Blue Marvel's powers reside. And like the blue portion of like the energies is the antimatter. It's tied to like the concept of dark energy in the Marvel comics. I'm not going to go into that right now, but like, seeing like that blue energy and like having that sort of be confirmed as antimatter is like, oh shoot, like the Marvel's like actively thinking about the science of Blue Marvel, even though like he's not actively in this movie, but like they're it's on their minds. And I'm like, oh, this is super exciting. Like because like everyone can't wait for Blue Marvel. Like it's the next hot thing.
Everyone's asking for Blue Marvel. Deadpool and Blue Marvel. Sony wants it.
Sony wants Deadpool and Blue Marvel. Those energies are super important to the MCU because like, blue energy can like prolong your life, and yellow energy is like quantum energy, and like we've seen like how it affected Hope Van Dyne's mom, whose name Janet Van Dyne in Quantumania. So like those energies together is basically could make you like an ultra god. So like I feel like there is a chance that Cassandra Nova could be alive somewhere, like in some spirit. And like obviously in the comics, like she comes back, like she's like super strong, is able to like reconstruct her body or whatever. So like I feel like we might see more Cassandra because like her performance was fantastic. Like she was proper creepy and terrifying. And
was so terrifying.
An Omega level threat. Like I would love to see like a what if episode with Cassandra Nova just like fucking shit up. Like, cause that would be
Oh
amazing.
yeah, that'd be great. I never trust an off-screen death. We didn't see the body. We didn't see confirmation of no life inside. So I don't know. I think I still think she could come back in the future.
Maybe she pops in X-Men 97. It's like, oh man, my body has rematerialized in the cartoon
my
form.
body's rematerialized and now I'm a cartoon. God, that's what I hope happens to me when I die. I want to die and just turn into a cartoon. That'd be great.
Bikini Bottom.
Hell yeah. Let's all retire to Bikini Bottom when we die, baby.
That's heaven.
Go.
It would be nice to see her like face off against Xavier. I do think they did a great job with like having like Wolverine pull her, like distract her and pull her out of sort of her game by being like, no, Xavier would have loved you,
so cool.
and he would have searched for you. And I think that was a great way of like having his presence there without paying for Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
And I think it also works so well for that Wolverine character. Like, can we talk about Jackman's performance? Because I think he was the highlight of this film.
Oh, absolutely. Like Ryan Reynolds is always great as Deadpool, but like seeing the Jackman Backman in action just really gets me going. He is just so unbelievably talented, and what a wonderful performance. So good.
He's got that character in his blood, like in his DNA. Like he is Wolverine, and like you can just really see like the weight that he carries after like, you know, killing all those people, having all the X-Men die because he went to the bar, which I thought was a really weird thing to be guilty about. Like honestly, I was like,
I mean, his friends died.
Tommy, if I ever die and you're at the bar, just know that that's what I would have wanted.
Yeah, don't go on a killing spree afterwards.
Yeah, please don't. Just have another marg for me. It's all good, baby.
It's just like really weird for me for like Wolverine to be like, if I was there, then all my friends would have lived. It's just like, like.
You would also have been dead.
We don't know that.
He's kind of hard to kill, but like he's not God. Like he's like you can't stop everyone from not dying. Right. And so I'm just like, why do you feel this guilt?
We don't know the details on how they killed all the X-Men. Like,
right.
I imagine the scenario in his mind is like, and then I would jump in front of Cyclops and take that blast, and then I'd jump in front of Base and take that blast.
No, you're right.
He releases a book like OJ, like, if I was there, this is how I would do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
I did it, and it's just Wolverine diving.
But no, like I feel like, you know, this is like just completely a hypothesis, but I feel like there's probably a take out there where Marvel was like, let's give him the old man Logan, like that origin where like he actually slaughters all the X-Men, but then they probably looked it over and like, all right, this is probably too dark for this character because like if we have him actually get tricked back, like, you know, Mysterio or whatever to kill all the X-Men, it's kind of hard for him to like be redeemed from that.
But then it would make sense with all of the like, oh, he's the worst X-Men, worst Wolverine for a reason. I think I would have liked that more too. I like that. Like
that would have been so like dark and like so, I don't know, super crazy. But like, yeah, I just don't like. I'm not the biggest fan of like his motivations for his guilt. So I'm just like, bro, we all drink sometimes and we all get drunk. Like you can't like. It's like, oh man, one night I drank a little bit, so like, man, I gotta let everyone down. Like, come on, man. You have your own life. Live your own life.
MT and I won a beer pong championship together, and now all my friends are dead, and I'm so sorry. That is a true story, everybody. It's a true story.
We did. It was so.
Oh
my god!
We
it was
destroyed.
Such a good
Now all our friends are dead.
Wait a second. Who died when you guys won?
I don't know.
Speaking of character motivations. Let's talk about Deadpool's motivations, because we talked a little bit about them not really respecting the Deadpool cast. I know that Whitney has opinions on this. I do too. I did not like anything that they did with Deadpool in the beginning, other than him having that bye fight. I think him going to like Happy Hogan and being like, I want to be an Avenger makes no fucking sense. Also, is he in the prime timeline when he does that? It's very confusing.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either, and none of you asked me, but I will share. Happy Hogan was my least favorite cameo.
Oh fuck! Did we not ask you your least favorite
Oh my
cameo,
God.
Tommy? I'm so sorry.
No, you guys all went and said all of your favorite
I'm
cameos.
so sorry.
Damn.
I'm a
Oh,
dingus.
Tasty T sat
Damn,
over
Tommy.
here, his arms crossed, negative body language, going, "When will it be my turn?" And it never came.
I'm so sorry.
Happy
Tommy.
Hogan.
I'm so sorry,
I'm
Tommy.
telling
Tommy,
you,
we
a
all
fourth
sincerely
member on the
apologize.
podcast does that. I apologize.
This has been a nightmare for me, but Happy Hogan was my least favorite cameo. My favorite cameo was
Honestly, I totally forgot that Happy Hogan was in the movie, quite honestly.
What was your favorite cameo?
my favorite cameo was Matthew McConaughey as Cowboy Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about how much that Happy Hogan scene sucked.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did not I was very confused about, did Deadpool go to 616 to join the Avengers? Is it because he had the cable bloop bloop bloop, the time whatever? But also, like, why was all of this happening? Like, he has the X-Men in his universe that, like, they're constantly, like, kind of what's the right word? They're like nagging him. They're like, yeah, you're probably not X-Men material, but we do need you.
But we want you on the team.
Yeah, the first two movies, they're like they're recruiting him.
They're actively recruiting him. And so it didn't make sense to me that he's over there, like, on his knees, trying to, suck his dick onto the Avengers in 616. But, like, it doesn't make any sense because the X-Men have wanted him for a very long time. And he also says when he's talking to Happy that the X-Men have rejected him, and that I can imagine that it has something to do with, like, X-Force and all of those deaths. But also by the end, but then he fixed that. And also at the end of the movie, they were all in a unit and Deadpool learned to realize that he wanted to be part of a team. So to me, I was like, okay, well, when did Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, like, rescind their invitation? And why did they rescind their invitation? Why wasn't he able to continue on as, like, a trainee with the X-Men? Because technically he saved that kid. He took one moment, like Colossus always tells him to, and he saved a life, and he did that. And what happened between then and him begging Happy Hogan for a spot on the Avengers that they didn't want him, especially they're at his fucking birthday party. Like, it's not like he fucked up so bad that they hate him. So what did he do?
And it's also like, aren't all the X-Men dead? Because if the Logan in his timeline is the Logan from Logan, all the mutants are dead. Like,
but also in Deadpool 1 or 2 at the X Mansion, they're all alive because there's the scene where he opens the door, or behind him the door opens, and Beast and Quicksilver and I think two of the other maybe Cyclops are there, and they're like doing that. So those X-Men are all very alive and young.
It's so weird in this multiversal, like, arc where they, like, can't commit to having more than, like, two timelines. It's just like, oh yeah, no, everything's part of the same timeline. And it's like,
right,
just say that they're different timelines, just slightly off from each other. Like, we get it.
I was slightly confused by that, but again, I hate to keep ringing the same bell, but the movie worked for me on a lot of levels and was very fun, and, like, was a great Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but it did not hold up as a continuation of the Deadpool story. It just felt like an adventure that he went on with Wolverine. I thought that, the expectations of the cast member, I will say, like, Deadpool, like, one of the things that the charm of the first Deadpool and second Deadpool movies are these supporting characters and his relationship to them. Like, his belligerency to Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and then, his like beloved, his like reverence for Yukio is funny. We got none
hilarious.
Of that in this movie.
Yeah, and we didn't really get any of
we
that.
got a little bit of it.
And then the other thing that we had one, hi Wade, hi Yukio, but it was
I wanted my Yukio monologue, actually.
Yeah.
Like, where is my Yukio monologue? Jesus Christ.
Where is my Yukio monologue?
I also personally had a pretty big privity problem with the way that they chose to handle Wade and Vanessa, like where they're broken up and everything, because that was another thing that just didn't make sense to me. Because first of all, like the first two movies were like Valentine's Day movies and they were like love stories. And even though in the last movie, she wasn't a huge part of the storyline, she was dead for most of the movie, but it was still like intercut with like her and Deadpool like being sweet to one another and still being in love with one another, and that was all great. But like, I need more. I need to know what happened between them more than just, you see, my girl, she's getting fed up with me being unemployed and depressed and not part of a superhero team. And it's like, that doesn't make sense to the character of Vanessa that we knew over the first two movies, where she's a very kind person. She's incredibly empathetic. She was willing to stay with him through the horrors of cancer treatment and death. She wanted to have a baby with him in the second movie. And then he also broke the rules of time travel and space to go back in time and literally save her from being murdered. And now she's giving up on him? Why? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, people being unemployed sucks. Like, I haven't had a job in a year, but Brett's not leaving me, you know? Like, I don't know. It just, people, that just seems like one of those, like, till death do we part kind of things. And they felt so in love and so endgame. I know that they weren't married, but she's like taking care of him and supported him through so much worse than just feeling lost and purposeless for 6 years or whatever it was. So I felt like that just wasn't true to Vanessa's character. I think that she would have been a lot more understanding, a lot more empathetic. And I don't like the lazy trope of, oh, it's a like sequel, let's make the main two characters break up and then that's the motivation. I just think that that's a lazy motivation that a lot of screenwriters fall into with subsequent film releases in a series. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to make him win the girl back a third time. The first movie was win her back because of his cancer treatment and his superhero starting upness. The second one was him bringing her back from the dead. And it's like, do we really need to see him try to win her back a third time? Like, they love each other. Let them be together. I don't know.
I would much rather that like his motivation and the catalyst not be, oh, Vanessa broke up with me, but like, oh, these are all the people I love. I'm having such a good time with all these people, and my timeline is now unraveling for some reason. And then the TVA shows up and recruits
exactly.
him. And then he's like, oh, I can save Vanessa. This is what I have to do to save Vanessa. Like, at the same time, I understand like one of the best moments is like when Wolverine is like, you're such a piece of shit that like you can't even keep a dancer. I understand that that's like a really powerful moment for both Wade and Logan, but like it really does such a disservice to the character Vanessa, who is a character I think is like such an integral part to what makes this Deadpool.
I agree. But this is the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast, so we're not going to end on negativity, guys. We need to go. Let's just say something we loved about the movie. Let's give a loving comment about the movie. I'll say one thing that I really loved about the movie was that Blade repeated his iconic, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. I thought that was fantastic. I thought Wesley Snipes in general was having a great time playing Blade. I watched an interview with him this morning, and I think he's full of shit, but he says that him and Ryan Reynolds have been pretending that they don't like each other for the last 20 years, but they secretly did always like each other. But he said that he literally got a call from him for the first time in 20 years and was like, why is this guy calling me? And then he said he thought he was crazy when Ryan Reynolds said that, like, I think I can get Blade in this movie. But he said it was so crazy that I just immediately said yes. Like, all right, if you can do it, I'll do it. And then he called me back like a week later and said, you're in. So I was really happy to. I don't think that Wesley Snipes' Blade character needed like a vindication or anything. Like, I thought he made 3 movies, and I think 1.5 of those movies are really great. And then there's some things that are like not great, but also it's like the late 90s, early 2000s. So like, There's a lot of shit that probably doesn't hold up now in 2024. So yeah, I was really happy to see Blade get a nice send off. Wesley Snipes' Blade get a nice send off in the movie. That was my favorite thing.
I was incredibly jazzed and incredibly ensorcelled by all of the fight choreography between Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was so cool to see them just beat the shit out of each other. And it is very funny because like they're not going at each other full strength, obviously, or, you know, one or both of them would be in a lot more pieces, but they are just kind of like torturing each other because they can't die, so they're just like repeatedly stabbing each other over and over again because they're grumpy. And I think that's fantastic. I love the bromance of this. I love the fight scenes. The fight scene where they're in the car is probably my favorite
fantastic
between the two of
That was
them.
awesome.
The physicality of that, I was laughing, I was, you know, cheering, I was having a great time. So I really loved the bromance. I really thought that the ending was so heartwarming about the power of friendship and how they needed each other to save their universes, and they needed each other to be able to handle that energy. And I think that that's just a really beautiful message to put out there in the world, that, yeah, you need each other. You need your friends. And when you have the power of friendship, you really can do anything. And maybe that's cheesy, but I love you guys.
I love you too.
I love you too, Whitney.
It was very, it's so weird because like this is like the 10-year like anniversary of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where the same exact thing happened at the end of the movie.
Exactly. It was literally the same thing. It is literally the same ending. They have to hold hands so that the thing doesn't tear them apart individually, and then they save the world.
And then the bad guy blows up from the energy. Like it's literally the same
exactly.
ending.
It's the same ending. But I really liked it, and I really liked the way that Deadpool and Wolvie did a similar thing.
I like that his little nails are what sealed the circuit.
Yeah. But no, I think my favorite part of this movie, the thing that got me the most hype, was like a little Easter egg in the background of Captain Hydra Cap shield from from Marvel Comics. Once I saw it, I was like, oh my god, he's in the multiverse, confirmed. That's all I needed. Like knowing that Marvel Studios is thinking about Hydra Cap to some extent makes me happy. I don't know if we'll ever see him in the MCU before the end of the multiverse saga, but like I really want this man to appear in Captain America 5 or 6 because he would make a fantastic villain for Sam Wilson, just to like actually fight a captain like Steve Rogers and to like, you know, go against that legacy.
Yeah.
That would be freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because everyone would be like, "Oh man, Steve Rogers is back! Like, let's get him back. He's the real Captain America." But it's like, I'm actually a Hydra.
Every story, it seems like he's having is everyone's just like, "You're not Steve. You're not Steve.
You suck. You're not Steve." So like, if he actually came back, that'd be a very, very great little story for him to go through. But yeah, like overall, I like a good crossover, man. So like that final team up fight with all the, you know, with Gambit and X-23 and Elektra, like in Blade, was just like, wow, like it's so cool to see like, you know, the Fox universe celebrated in this way, even though it's over and like it's ending, but like it's just like, yeah, like not all these movies were bangers, but like or existed in the first place, but like we do like love and like acknowledge that they existed, and like, you know, we're not going to run from it. Even even Daredevil got the other Daredevil, what's it called, Ben Affleck's Daredevil got a mention, which is
sorry about your husband.
Yeah.
I agree. I think like, as I said, I have a lot of complaints about the movie, but like overall I left positive for the same reason, MT, where like I love that it was a celebration of all of these bad Fox movies. Because like I think those movies hold a space in our hearts, and like especially like for me, like those first two X-Men movies, like that they changed my life, you know. So like,
right.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It felt nice, and then once it was like, okay, I don't have to look at this like it's like telling a story. I can just look at this as a celebration of everything that came before it. I was like, I'm on board.
We're all on board this beautiful ship as we cruise through the Palaxy. that's going to do it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank my pals, MT, Whitney, and Brett. And as always, guys, be good to your pals. Check in on your pals and give your pals a hand if they need a little help.
Hells yeah, pals.
Goodbye.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.